Suit mods are super overpowered in Spider-Man Remastered. There are 28 of them, I believe, and they're all overall good in their own right. Some of them are terrible, though. For example, I really don't like the Raging Fury. I've heard people say it's good, but it's really not. And an honorable mention for the best would go to Arms, just because it's pretty good for combat, but just it's overall not the best on the list. But there are some that are better than others. There are 5, in my opinion, that are literally so much better than every other one on this list, and it's kind of insane how these 5 are able to kind of mop the floor with any fight you're in. Some of them are better for getting out of a fight, and some of them are better for just overall. Overall, they're just better for combat in general. But yeah, I'm just in my studios, and I'm here to rank the top 5 suit powers in Spider-Man Remastered. And yeah, I'm just in my studios. Thank you for watching the previous 3 days of Spider Week, and let's get into day 4 of Spider Week. Okay, number 5 is battle focus. The reason this is so high on the so low on the list is simply because it's really good for getting yourself out of a situation. It's amazing for healing, but it just doesn't have the destructive power of ones that are later on this list. The ones later on this list allow you just to mop the floor with the entire groups of enemies, but this is more meant for dealing with a modest group of thugs or something. It allows you to heal, which is why the only reason on the list is because it allows you to heal. And if you have certain perks on, you can get 4 healing opportunities, which is literally insane. 4 opportunities to heal, which fully heals your health bar basically, or an opportunity to kill about 8 enemies, which 8 enemies is a lot. That's like almost an entire group of enemies depending on how far you are through the game. It's also just not that good for post-game, but it is really good for bases when you're clearing out enemies and you need a good combo, or you need to get like 8 or 10 finishers. For those scenarios, it's really, really good, and I can understand why everyone would use this. Personally, this is my most used suit mod, but I can understand why a lot of people wouldn't use this. Number 4. Spider-Bot. This is so low on the list just simply because it doesn't give you a combo and it takes way too long to refill. It also feels like cheating. Yeah, it's the best in the game, or like the second best in the game, for simply, oh, it's the best in the game for, like, clearing out enemies, but it's just it's not fun to use, man. It doesn't give you a combo, which is a massive stinker because you need combos for a lot of things in the game, which means it doesn't give you focus, meaning if the second this is over, you're done. Especially if this doesn't clear out the entire group of enemies, you're done. It's really good for if you want to clear out a big room of smaller enemies, but it kind of falls flat when you're fighting bigger enemies. It really still up to the player. It's not like a cheat code. It's up to the player to use this correctly, and I really don't love this suit mod as much as I would love others in the game, which is why it's so low on the list. But overall, it's still really decent. Number 3, gadget refills. This is really good. It's really good for almost every scenario in the game, whether you're fighting Dr. Octopus and need some web bombs, or you're just fighting a group of enemies and need some tight wire. This one has a few issues, like, for example, it only refills the gadget you're currently selecting. I wouldn't mind if it was a little slower, like it only did 3 out of 5, but it would allow you to fully get everything up. That'd be nice. Like, you could do everything, get 2 or 3 for everything. That, in my opinion, would be a little better than what it currently is. It also has too long of a reload for what you're getting. You're getting just the ability to use gadgets. The player still has to have a lot of input and a way to use those, which is why it's lower on the list. But it is definitely the most fun to use on the list. And I had a lot of fun using this when going in just normal combat. Of course, the refill time is too long, and so is the time to regen, but overall, this is just a really, really good suit mod, and perfectly understandable if you use this one. Number 2. Quad damage. My least used on the list is definitely quad damage, but I understand where you guys are coming from when you say that this is the best in the game. Basically, it gives you 4 times the damage, and if you mix this with, like, a perk, or if you mix this with gadgets, you're gonna decimate every group of enemies you're in. I'm talking Taskmaster in, like, 6 hits. It's literally insane. I've used this, like, 3 times, and every time I use it, it gets me out of every scenario that I'm in. It's literally a trip using this, because you wouldn't expect this to just be so incredibly good. But it is. It's by far probably my favorite. It's really good. It is overrated, but it's also just pretty good as well. Especially because it allows you to just basically you can wiggle your way out of any scenario using this suit mod. My only issue with it is that the regen time is just a little too long on this suit. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes, which is just too much for what you're getting. You're getting like 15 seconds of quad damage. And yeah, you can decimate any group, but at the same time, you're not decimating any groups if it takes every 2 minutes. It's just not as good as the number one on this list. Number one, Web Blossom. Pretty much everyone in the Spider-Man Remastered community can agree that this is by far the best one. It takes out groups of enemies, and I'm talking groups, like 20 enemies probably. It decimates thugs. It's pretty good at taking out demons. It's okay for Sable agents, and it's great for prisoners, because prisoners are just normal thugs. The only time it really struggles is if you're dealing with enemies that are in the air, or if you're dealing with whip enemies, it kind of struggles there too, and big enemies. But the regen slime time is only like 2 minutes. It gives you all the focus from all the enemies you webbed, meaning you get like 2.5, if not 3 bars of focus, which is the same thing you get from battle focus. But you also you take out like 10 enemies with you, and it's literally insane how many enemies you can take out. It's also really fun to use, decimating all your enemies, and it gives you it gives you a lot of time of wiggle room. This thing lasts like 5 seconds, giving you 5 seconds to breathe. And it gives you even longer because the enemies have to recover after you use this on them. So overall, it's a really overpowered suit mod. And yeah, so I'm sorry this video was so short. I literally spent a minute on each suit mod, and this video ended up being probably 7 minutes after this outro. I originally wanted to do top 10, but I had to so I decided to take resources from this video that I would have spent and put it towards the photo video, which it was supposed to be like 30 minutes, but the footage ended up being like 2 hours. So the video might be about an hour, almost an hour and 20 minutes probably, honestly. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed J4 Spider Week. This is by far the shortest video of the Spider Week. The second shortest video of Spider Week will probably end up being the boss video. That video may only be like 12 minutes. And then I'm hoping to make the suit ranking video almost 20 minutes. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. There's still over Spider Week, there's still going to be 3 to 4 super long videos. And yeah, I'm just from my studios, and I hope you guys enjoyed Spider Week.